Okay. So just start by making yourself comfortable in your chair. Looking for a posture where you feel supported in a way that just allows you to release some of the tightness in your body. The sort of ideal posture that we're moving towards, and I'll emphasize that idea of moving towards it, would be, I turn around here, you can see sort of forwards in one side of the chair, forwards in the chair. I tilt forward slightly and I feel about 30% of my weight, about a third of my weight in my feet. It's difficult, it's very subtle. If you want to feel it a bit stronger, one thing you can do is just raise your heels like this for a few moments. That will probably give you much more of a sense of how your feet are sort of part of your whole structure. Don't keep it like this because you'll find that your calf muscles do actually start to tense up. Just be aware that this can be quite strong on your back though, so we're never stuck in a particular posture. Rubbing your hands together and just tapping over your face. Over your head and neck. Shoulder and arm, and just feeling the vibration of your muscles as you do this. Same thing on the opposite side. The upper part of the chest. Down to your belly. And your legs, and again, just feeling the big muscles of your legs vibrating a little bit. Okay. Now just staying in the upright posture, there's different parts of the body, and starting with your head, just gently turning your head from side to side. So I'm leaving out the reclining position for this session. We'll come back to the basic posture in a few moments, but just wanting to sort of ease some of the tightness, some of the stiffness in the upper part of your body. If your neck is particularly tight, one thing you can do is take one or both hands and just gently clasp hold of your neck, these big muscles on the side of the neck. Just press in gently so that as you move, you can feel the muscles moving, and that just helps to massage those muscles. Then placing your hands in front of your shoulders and circling your elbows back. Once again, if you feel that there's a particular tension there, one thing you can do is do it with one side, obviously. Again, if you can take hold of the big muscle, the top of the shoulder there, and move your elbow, you'll feel that it's sort of, you feel the movement of the muscle. Don't overdo this, don't move the elbow too far. Even if the other side doesn't feel particularly tight, try and do both sides. And again, don't overdo it or do it for too long. Go back to the number one and then going forwards. Bringing your hands down, let them hang down to your sides and just rotating your arms. And winding. And back. Press your hands down. Now, straight from the side again. Just tilting forward, so these bones at the base of your pelvis are like the blades of a rocking chair. You start to go forwards and backwards And it's just good to get that feeling of your weight moving from one foot to another, which is a major sort of driving force in a lot of the exercises that we do. And the weight transfer is also very important. It's an everyday activity, the weight transfer. And every time you walk from one room to another in your house, you're transferring your weight. So just getting a sense for how that feels as the weight fills up in your legs, whether you're actually blocking the movement in some way. But there's another aspect to this, which is a little bit more subtle perhaps, but just as important. As I go forwards, I get to a point around about here where suddenly I'm tightening up in my back, because if I didn't, I'd just sort of fall forwards. If I go back a long way, I'm tightening up in my chest, because if I didn't, I'd fall off the chair, which is not the point. So first of all, we get a sense for how far we can move without that gripping, without that tightening feeling. Then notice, even with that, when you go back to here, I feel the front of my body is just extended out a little bit. I can feel a lot of pull there. It's not uncomfortable, it's not tight, but there's a definite pull. When I go forwards, again, there's a definite pull. And what I'd like to try and do is to find a position, an angle for my body where that pull is equal front and back. And just coming to rest there for a moment or two and feeling that I'm being sort of held in the way that a tent might be held by its guy ropes. In this sense, in this point of equilibrium. And it's here we'll get the maximum amount of possibility for our weight to drop down, our hips sinking into the chair, we feel our weight flowing down through the body, rooting down. So an alignment of your body with the pull of gravity leads to an ability to drop your center of gravity. The rooting down is in lots of ways crucial to Tai Chi. It's what gives Tai Chi its ability to maintain stability, for one thing. So think of that as a reference point and go back to this movement, just gently forwards and backwards. We could, again, like the tent can sway in the wind a little bit. You're not stuck in one position, but you're not moving so far that you're creating a tightening within your body. Now, turn a little bit and go towards one leg. So that sense of equilibrium, Chinese term is Zhongding, and it is usually translated as central equilibrium. It's not necessarily a fixed point, so it's useful to get a sense for how it feels when your body is in central equilibrium, because it's a quality, a flavor of the movements that we want to cultivate in all the movements as much as possible. Turn the other way. So there's an intentional quality here. And there's various intentions that we cultivate and allow to rest in the background while we're doing these movements, the alignment, the rooting down, and that feel of central equilibrium. And then circular. So this is an ongoing thing. As I say, the point of central equilibrium isn't necessarily always going to be the same, but the feel is consistent. And one of the qualities that it has is a sense of spaciousness. So that as you do this movement, your spine, your ribs, your whole body is just moving as one unit without restriction, without fighting against itself. And then back the other way. This is an idea and a practice that's worth coming back to. We haven't spent that long on it, but one thing you can do is integrate it into your life. If you sit down on a chair to watch television or something like that, you can just kind of move around and see if you can find that sense of equilibrium. Now, the feet. Push your heel up, step out, put your heel down. Press the ball of your foot into the floor. Press the whole foot into the floor. Plant in the foot. Come back. Extend your leg again. Put the foot down. Plant it. So you're just planted something in a pot and you're gently pressing the soil down. And this time you plant and let your weight follow. So the planting has created a pathway for your weight to move. And on the other side, first of all, without the weight moving, heel, ball of the foot, gently press in. Back. What we would call in Tai Chi an empty step. Empty because there's no significant weight running into the foot. And then this time again, tilting forwards, transferring the weight once again. And settling down into your foot, feeling the leg compressed, and then expanding, pushing you back here, letting your hips sink down, feeling lower back, hips and buttocks compressed, and then pushing up. So it's like if you can imagine doing this on a very springy chair, it would sort of sink into the chair and then it would push you up again. You just take that push and bring that. So the rooting down, the dropping down, the yielding to the pull of gravity initiates what we could think of as a cycle of movement, a cycle of energy down into the ground, leading to a rising, expanding movement. And it's that rising, expanding movement that is one of the, well, both directions really, but the outcome is this very dynamic energy within the body that we then move. So bringing your weight back, feeling yourself sinking down into the chair, let your arms hang down, turn your hands palm forwards, and just push forwards and your arms rotate as they did earlier, and then back. It's this bird folds its wings. So there's a moment in the front position and in the rear position when you're just settling in and almost waiting for that sense of a push up. Particularly those of you who've been doing this for some time. It's good practice not to sort of think, I'm going to go back, but going down and waiting, this wave-like surge coming up through the body. So when we start to align ourselves and we get to that sense of central equilibrium that allows gravity free passage through our body, we're not fighting against this force of gravity. We find that we're able to, well, apart from fighting it, it actually becomes useful. It's almost like pushing down on the pedals of a bicycle. It initiates the movement. Notice I can only do this with one hand. Keep going with both hands. Notice that my arm remains hanging down from my shoulder. Bird folds its wings, just rotating. The forward and backwards is all in the rest of the body. Transfer the weight. But then this time, leave your hand facing backwards and coming back, let them swing back past your hips, coming forwards. And as you settle into your feet, swinging balance. This is fisherman casting. To begin with, we're looking for a very loose feel, particularly in our shoulders and our arms. But as that begins to develop, we just very carefully bring in an image of moving through water, which delivers a little bit more substance to the movement. Still not tight, still not stiff, still with that sort of background feel of the swing. But perhaps we could argue there's a bit more intention. If you were in water and you were doing this, and there wasn't some degree of intention about how you wanted to move your arms and hands, you'd just be going all over the place. Time going forwards, leaving your arms out there, and as you come back, feel how they're drawn up. It's only just rolling the ball in. However far we move, we should always feel that we could have moved a little bit further. So when I go forwards, I go to here. I could go to there, but if I go just a little bit further, I'm going to tighten up. So I want to leave a bit of space at the far end of each movement, so that there's that space within the body for the energy to continue to flow. As you come up this time, turn your hands palm in, and as you sit back, just drawing your elbows apart, opening your chest a little bit, and then coming in, down, pressing the hands. Pigeon spreads its wings. Your arms should go behind your shoulders or above them. See here, if I do this, I'm just going to start straining in my upper back and chest. I'm not trying to stretch these muscles. Just trying to get them working very harmoniously. As I go forwards, I can feel the expansion across my back between my shoulders, and then that contracts, helping to draw my arms out. One more time. The next movement, very similar in many ways, with the expansion of the chest and upper back, elbows going out, but your hands stay a little bit further in, and then go forwards. This is pushing wave. It gives that movement a slightly stronger feel. So it's a bit more compressed, I suppose you could say. Sometimes the term used is that the energy is a bit packed. It's like if you go to pack a bag, then you squeeze as much of it in as you can. Not so that it's rock hard, it's still quite soft, but really quite full. And there's quite a full feeling, particularly in your arms and your hands, as you go forwards. You can also still imagine moving through water, pushing into that soft resistance. And this one more time. And then roll your fingers into a hollow fist and going forwards. This time your elbows don't go out. They just draw back and rest slightly in front of your hips. You go forwards and just let your arm extend out, keeping the hands at the same height. Rotation in your arms, like winding up a couple of springs. Punch with both fists. Now this time, from the forwards position, open your hands and go back into pigeon spreads its wings. And then change into pushing wave again. And then punch with both fists. Doing one of each in a little ongoing sequence. It's giving yourself a chance to compare and contrast what's happening in your upper body. In your lower body, it's that forward and backward movement, passing through that point of central equilibrium each time. Then subtle changes to the patterns of expansion and contraction in your upper body are associated with each different movement. See what there is to observe each movement. One more round. At the end of this movement, open your fingers, turn your hands palm out, you wind out. Bring the hands back in, finishing with pushing wave. The arms going out like this. It's getting this lovely open, expansive feeling in the chest. And we're going to combine this with stepping that we did earlier. And alternate from side to side. This time as you come back, settle a little bit more into the right side of your body. So you can pick up your left foot, plant the foot, and follow up with your weight movement. And then back, as you come back, bring the left foot in, plant it down, parallel to the right. Move over to the left side of your body a little bit, step out with your right foot. And so again, a very subtle weight change. This will just very gently work the area of your pelvis and the pelvic floors, and very subtle changes. Always remember when we do these movements, of course, we're having an effect on muscle, tendon, ligament, and so on. Also things like the fascia. And we're also we have to be working with the nervous system. This exercise from side to side, this encourages these very fine motor movements in the nervous system, in the muscles, the center of the body. These are pretty crucial movements for our ongoing. One more on each side. It's also the center of the body that takes that upward movement coming as you sink into your hips. You turn and you direct that movement, that energy where you want it to be. Coming back and turn your hands palm down. Turn. Once again, using the center of the body to guide the arms, rolling forwards, extending through the back of your arms, turning back and coming back. Polishing the tongue. Change sides. A lot of these movements seated are a lot more subtle than standing movements. But just to show you how I'm using my hips or trying to use my hips in this exercise, I'm going to stand up and show you what the movement would look like from behind if it was standing. I'm going to exaggerate a bit. I push my hips back. I swing them across. I let them drop down to bring my head up. I turn them back to them. When I change direction, I turn, push out, extending the arms, coming around. So you wouldn't get this much movement in the chair, of course. It's not going to slide around on the chair. But this is what you want to be sort of feeling within your body with this thing. Polishing the table. Noting the significance of that center part of the body. We expand from there, we contract back in. Not only do we do the expansion from there, but the direction of that expansion is guiding pelvis tilting forwards and backwards, turning horizontally in hips and waist, creates the pattern in the shoulders, by the back, and the shoulders, and eventually in the arms. One more on each side. Hence, we're told in Tai Chi the movement is rooted in our feet, transmitted through our legs, guided, directed through the center. And this time, turning your hands palm up, sinking into the chair, feeling that slight sense of compression. So there's a ball here in your belly, and that ball is going to be compressed, and then it's going to expand. It will push downwards and upwards. This exercise is rooting down. The downward movement is the rooting down. Like a plant growing out of the root, your back, spine just gently lengthen and then contract again. It creates this wave-like movement. Once again, pushes up through your body, actually pushes your elbows outwards. Means that your fingers get thrown. One more time. And then turning your hands so that your fingers point away from your body. Arms being pushed out and they swing up a little. And then down. This is the movement, the wild goose. So maybe the image of the bird in flight offers some kind of idea, some kind of quality. If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. Or you could use an image like waving a feather up and down in your head. Not every image will work for you all the time. So we offer a variety of images. The interesting thing is how responsive our bodies are to imagery. This is true even if you don't do Tai Chi, but it's a quality that is refined very much in Tai Chi. One more time. This time, easing forwards so that your hands can just clear your knees. Sit back, and again, with the rising movement, pushing your elbows out this time, drawing your fingers around in a nice smooth circle. The exercise of parting the planets. Expanding. Notice, still haven't sort of stretched out fully. It's a lovely smooth extension through your back and your spine. There's somebody will very gently massage. One more time. This time, letting your hands drop down to your sides, bringing your attention to one side, feeling that rising movement, then pushing your elbow out the sun, drawing your fingers up, wide around as though you're plucking a leaf off a tree. Then, with your attention, your intention to the opposite side, same again. So the dragon touch the stars. One more time. Stone head. Both hands together, pushing in two directions. First of all, a long feeling through your back. And then pushing out something. We could apply the image of moving through water, or we could just, can you imagine that sort of running from your feet to your hands, or through your body? You've got like little elastic threads. Depending on the movement, of course, but when you push out, some of those threads will extend. And then when you draw back in, movement is into and out from center of your body. So take a moment, when your hands come down, you want to feel, you can just lightly touch the side of your hips, reminding yourself of that central part of your body. Just feeling that there's this moment of settling in your mind as you do. And then this time, touch the side of your hips, you start to push out, and you just turn in your hips and your waist a little bit. Turn in the two stages of the expansion into 4 stages, returning one direction, come back to the center, pushing the other direction, come back to the center. And then finish by pushing out. Pushing in 4 directions. This time, as you push your hands out, extend one foot again, just onto the heel this time, your knee remaining bent. And take your arms so your palms are facing up, ease forwards, keeping most of your weight back, scooping the sea, and then with hips dropping back, drawing your shoulders up, expanding in the front of your body, looking at the sky. Once again, although it's quite stretching this exercise, you still want to feel that you could have gone a little bit further. So for instance, don't do this, but I can get to here, and I've still got that space in my body. But go to a stretch, everything kind of locks up. Sometimes that might be appropriate. I mean, stretching is a good thing to do. It's not what we're trying to do in these exercises. We're trying to maintain that space with that internal flow. So this time, once again, you roll your fingers into a fist, going forwards. This time your head projecting upwards, so your arms are drawn up, no higher than your own ears, maybe lower. This is grasping the tiger's ears. The arms here, the hand will be palm forwards, so there's a rotation here, similar to bird folds explained at the start of the session. Changing sides, starting with scooping the sea and movements. So I'm changing direction, hollow fist, your hands, grasping the toes. And then come back to that central resting position. Now, slightly more complex pattern. Move your weight over into your right side, turn to your right a little bit, and then feel the push and direct it towards your left leg. So let your weight drop down into your feet, and then come back on that diagonal line. Move across and turn a little bit to your left. I'm doing this quite big again, so you can see what I'm doing. And then going forwards, turning towards the right foot, back, and then it's coming back to that. Now, hold the ball. Right hand on top, the left hand. And as you go forwards in that movement, swing the left hand out and up, pressing down with the right hand. This is part of the wild horse today. Come back. Hold forward. Move your weight across into the shoulder. This time, again, bringing in the stepping. Step out with your left foot. So you end up going a little bit further forwards. Don't overdo this. Coming back. Doing the foot parallel. Shift across. Step to the right. One more time. Coming back to this central position. And again, aware of the structure, most certainly, but also aware of the feel, flavor, particularly in the upper part of your body. That has to include the back, the chest, does it have an effect on your breathing, so on. Then, again, rubbing your hands together. And back to the tapping exercise before we try and stand, starting on your face. Over your head and neck. Shoulder. And your arm. And on the other side. The upper part of the chest. Belly. And then pushing your heels up. So suddenly get a bit of circulation back into your legs. Got some of that, it's quite easy to do, of course. And then circle. And back the other way. Okay. And if you wish to stand, come into the standing position. So we want to try and reproduce those qualities of central equilibrium. However you experience them, I talked about them being spacious, but it's important that we look to find a way of understanding them, of experiencing them, and labeling them that is actually useful to us. Whatever that is, the intention is to once again come into that posture. But there's a technical side as well. Standing with your feet hip width apart. So this way, you've got these sort of parallel lines going down through your body. And just rolling your weight forwards and backwards in your feet. So you're pivoting from your ankle. And once again, like in the chair, I go too far, everything starts to stiffen up. So moderating the movement. I'll show you with this pole. I talked about two parallel lines. You can imagine a third parallel line going through the middle of my body. And that was there. You see, as I move forwards and backwards, it stays that way. My body keeps in line with it. I'm not bending my hips or nodding my head backwards and forwards. The pivot point is my ankles. And once again, just identifying those parts of the body that you feel are pulling us slightly. So when I go forwards, I feel this in my calf muscles. When I go back, I feel it in my thigh muscles. And you may feel it somewhere else. But again, the idea, what we're trying to do is to reach a position where that pull is equal. Depending on where it is, once you come to settle, ideally it would be more forwards in your feet. So tilt forwards just a little bit until you feel that that point is just behind the ball of the foot. So probably mean that you're angling forwards though. So we come back to the upright stance. In a sense, we come back to central equilibrium by releasing in the hips and just allowing gravity to pull them back. And I start to sit down. My weight is still a little bit forwards, but I've still got that quality of central equilibrium. Stillness might be another quality that we associate. Rooting down, the center of gravity dropping. And the interesting thing about this posture, there's the spaciousness there. There's that quality of stillness. But because my weight is forwards, just a very slight movement forwards, and I'm able to take a step. So although you're standing very still, you've also got almost enough energy to take a step with. So this combination of stillness and movement. Now, from here, just make sure, letting your hips drop back a little bit more. So your knees will bend. Just do this very carefully. Don't overbend your knees until you feel that push up. This is much more obvious and much stronger, I feel, standing. It's like your legs are a set of springs that get compressed and then push you back up, or as though you're standing on a trampoline or a bouncing castle. Your body expanding, growing out of the root and sinking down. And as with the chair-based exercises, this moves our arm. Bring your arms around to the ball holding position, the standing version of rooting down, pushing up, and then dropping down. Turning your hands out, possibly a bit, and into the wild goose, and sinking. And then letting your hands cross in front of your belly, parting the clouds. Just letting this little sequence of movements, once again, draw your attention to subtle changes in the patterns of movement, patterns of expansion and contraction that you feel within your upper body. And those of you more familiar with this, you'll have an idea of sort of what you want to happen. You begin to bring your intentionality to that. These small changes are more likely to respond quickly to a change in intention. So gradually what we learn to do is to build the movements from within the body. It's not that we're not concerned with the external movement. It's a question of how we get to it. So rather than straining in the shoulders, I want to feel that expansion from the sides of my body, pushing my arms out, and then contracting, drawing them down. Here, I feel the expansion up through belly, solar plexus, and chest. So mind and body begin to integrate in this movement. That's three elements of mind, body, and energy. Give your legs a shake. This is not mind over matter. We're not forcing the body into doing anything. This is not even saying that, you know, if we think the right way, everything will be fine. It's actually a process of observing these movements within the body and learning to bring the focus of our attention and our intention to that, so that there's an integration of mind and body. There's a cooperation, if you like. Now, from the parallel stance, imagine two lines going across the floor and turn one foot out, step forwards on that line with the other foot, and once again transferring your weight. We did this earlier in the chair, but this is a really useful exercise, particularly standing and trying to have a sense of where you want your weight to go. So if I move my weight forwards and I'm not paying attention and I'm not concerned that it goes over there, I disappear. So an awareness of what it feels like for the weight to fill into your foot, into your leg. We can take that line of the standing, the seated exercises, guides our intentionality and makes the movement much more stable as a result. Go into your back foot, raise the front toes, bring the foot in, step out, put the heel down, lower the toes, plant the foot again, move the weight forwards. Notice as I've got my foot turned out. So bring the foot in, push back, put the ball of the foot down, lower the heel, plant, and move the weight. Change over, have your other foot forwards, keeping the width of your step. First of all, fixed step, just moving the weight, transferring the weight. Raising toes and heel. Stepping in. Alternating from side to side, bring the foot in, push out to the side. When I want to rest my weight in one leg fully, I have the foot slightly turned out. And for me, that just creates a bit more space in my hip for the weight to flow down. Well, that's true for most people. Some people don't need to do that. A lot depends on exactly how your hips are structured. But don't turn the foot out too far because then you'll start to change direction. And this time, take a few steps through, either forwards or backwards. Push back. And have your right foot forwards. Now, go into your back foot. As we did in the chair, turn, let that direct your arms, they swing out a little bit. Turn the front foot out just as we go forwards. Your arms drop down, turn, raise your back heel. We could do this going backwards, bring the foot in. This is dragonfly skins towards. Step, settle into your front foot, turn, your arms swing. Your body expanding and contracting, expanding, and maybe was able to raise your foot. If you find that that's just throwing the movement off completely, then leave your toes down. Change direction. One more time. Really good. Go back to your chairs. So you don't have to stand on one leg to do that exercise. You can keep the toes down. But if it's something that you want to work on, what keeps you stable isn't straining in your body, but central equilibrium. So the way to do it, the way that I worked it out to start off with, hold on to something, maybe raise the leg up and play around. Where is that sense of equilibrium? Can you drop your hips a bit? Are you able to raise your leg, for instance, without leaning backwards and so on and so forth? So there's a whole process of investigation there. Just something to work on, perhaps. Okay, so coming back to the seated posture. All of these qualities, in my experience, come and go. So what we want to try and do is to find how we can come back to them. And this last exercise is called Embrace Tiger, Return to the Mountain. For me, the mountain is a great image for central equilibrium, but it might be something different for you. Just letting your hands drop down to your sides. Pushing your arms out, a bit like the wild goose. Before they reach shoulder height, bring them around and hold the ball against your chest. Drawing your hands in, releasing in your hips and your shoulders, and just let everything flow inwards and downwards. Including your attention, and then pushing out again. So we just find a pathway back to this quality that we label as central equilibrium, just for a moment, quality of mind and body and energy. And then we start to push out. So it's the returning process that we learn to focus on. And it's worth just seeing if there's anything in particular that stands out for you. The image of the mountain, the sensations in your body, or something different. Something simple that you can take with you out of the session. One more time. And okay, just open this. Lovely. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and joining in. I'm always happy to receive comments and feedback and questions, so feel free to get in touch with me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again.